And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv. It's tiki time at Harbor Cove Cafe. Dive into the tropical paradise at the end of Spinnaker Drive in Ventura with vibrant drinks, delicious bites, award-winning fish and chips, and more. Now featuring extended hours and happy hour, Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Visit harborcovecafe.net for more information.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
Hi, this is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am our Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Sorry we were a little caught by surprise there because John was still having a seizure.
Oh, yes, thank you.
He does every morning.
Practicing.
He thinks he's rocking out, but it's more like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, one of these days we should have like a camera on him while the intro's going because you guys don't see what's going on.
Don't threaten him with a good time.
Oh, I really thought we were doing that. I like that.
Hey, if I have to suffer, they should suffer.
I think you're right. Anyway, Johnny DeBruvo sitting right here. He was your
morning
rock router, and of course Jeff Genet is here as well. And we're talking today about a lot of things. There's
excuse me.
We literally just started the show, and you're already interrupted.
What's your name?
R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul. Already said that.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, catch up. That's because your brain was still settling in place from your rocking.
Mustard. Yeah, that was good, Johnny. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we were laughing. We're going to start today talking about Zak Bagans. Bagans, is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I kept thinking Bilbo Baggins. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is he related?
Zak Bagans Haunted Museum up in Las Vegas. I was just up there. Jeff had been there in 2018. Mm-hmm. My son had been there, I think, in 2022. And several other people I know have been there, recommended it, said it was one of the highlights of their Las Vegas visit. So I thought this time we're going to go. And so we did. We got there for the first tour of the morning. And the only picture that you're allowed to take is inside the gift shop and outside. So this is a picture of the main entrance here. And they do something kind of silly here. They do something very cool here as well, though. But while you're waiting to get your tour started, they show a clip from the one of the ghost shows that Zak had done. I don't know why, because it's a horror film, right? So it's shot very dark. Mm-hmm. And it's very bright outside, and the cars are all parked behind you, and they're all white and yellow. You can't see a damn thing on the screen. All you can hear is noise. So that was kind of a waste. Get rid of those monitors there. They're not doing anybody. I guess at night it's awesome. Yeah, so I have to consider that. The thing I noticed, though, is I'm sitting there, and I'm what is that scent? And I'm trying to figure out what this scent is. And I realize it's like this floral scent that's familiar to me, but I can't quite place. And my mother comes up, and we drug my mother, I almost said her age, which would get me killed. My mother, and she goes, "What is that smell?" And I go, "It's some kind of floral scent." And she goes, "Yeah, but what does it smell like?" And it suddenly hit me like this. I go, "It smells like a mortuary." Oh. And so they got this flower scent going outside, intentional or not. It smells like a mortuary, you know, just a nice flower scent. And so that sets you up for the rest of what you're about to experience. Mm-hmm. So we went inside then, and the gift shop is right there in the entryway. And we met our tour guide, which interestingly enough, remember last week I told you that I watched a video and they talked to a tour guide? It was her that they talked to. Okay. She was our tour guide. Very interesting woman, and got the mood going for the event and whatever. Gave us our little RIP lanyards. Do not go to that tour and not pay the extra for the RIP. Now, I don't know if they even had that when you were there. Did they have that or
I don't
not?
think so.
Don't go unless you're going to be the RIP, because if you do, this is what happens to you. You go into a main exhibit and you see something and she tells you about it. And then she says, and my RIPs are the only ones allowed in the room. And then you get to go in the room as an RIP. Other people have to sit there and wait for you. You're missing a full third of the tour if you do that, because almost everything has an RIP entrance or exit or allowed time or something like that. So make sure no matter what you do the RIP, plus you get a free t-shirt afterwards.
Oh, there you go.
So it's like a $30 more, I think, or something like that.
Oh, this shirt's $25 anyway, so it's like,
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
a wash. Exactly.
So
exactly.
it cost you how much for the tour?
It costs $86 plus tax to do the RIP tour. Let's see the catch on VIP, RIP, VIP. Did you have more sub question, or you just froze?
Well, no. How much just for the tour without the
it's
RIP?
like $56, I think.
Oh, okay, and then the extra for the RIP,
Right.
which is
And don't do it. Just bite the bullet and pay full boat, because you'll be mad.
so.
Can you imagine
Basically,
sitting there waiting while somebody else is doing a better part of the tour?
so basically, you're looking at almost $100 to go on this tour.
Yes.
And how long does it last?
2.5 hours.
Oh,
it's weird though that they would take regular tickets and the RIP tour on the same, on the same thing,
It
as
is
opposed to here's the general, here's the RIP. You guys are going on your separate ways.
And I wondered about that. And there's two things I thought about. One, maybe it's because we were there so early in the morning and the party wasn't a full party. There were 13 of us in our group, I think.
Oh, okay.
And the full party, I think, 17 or 18. So maybe that. Also, I thought it's a brilliant, and no matter what you have to say about Zak Bagans, brilliant marketing from beginning to end. And I thought maybe part of that marketing is people go on that tour, they pay their $56. I'm not going to do the RIP tour. And then they go on the tour and they see these people going into these other areas that they don't get to go in. Now they got to come back and do again and pay full boat. So maybe that's part of it as well. But just pay full boat. You just have to do it. The first room they sent us in, and I know some of this stuff was new after you were there in the 2018.
it's the way you said that.
It was just a language error, John. It's
I
not
know,
that
but
funny.
okay.
I can turn off his camera too. Anyway,
Blur that out.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Wait a minute. I'm fading. I'm fading. Sorry.
he just wants to be part of this conversation, and he hasn't been there, so he's trying to sneak things in.
Arr.
I prove my point. So the first room they take you in is a room that is from an exorcism, and they have every room they take you in. They have the actual artifacts from the stories that you may have heard about in the room with you, and they have some videos. And Zak Bagans does a video for every single room. Was it like that when you were there?
Nope.
Okay, every single room there's a video or at least audio of Zak Bagans describing what's going on in there, and he's very good at that too. It's the most haunted thing in all of Western LA or something like that. He's really good at presenting that. So the first room is this exorcism room. They show you the video. They tell you the story of the woman. They tell you that this came from her house. This came from over here. The haunted item was this. And take a look around. And when you're done looking, my RIPs stay here and the rest of the tour wait out in the hallway. So as an RIP, we'd stayed there. And she said, she had further video for us. So she plays the Zak Bagans thing again. And he says that the RIPs can take this little tunnel to the left where they've channeled all the evil from the exorcism into this little tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to crawl through it. You can't walk.
Okay.
You got to crawl through it. And she goes, so who's going to be first? And I was, at this point, I was borderline scared-ish, you know? And I was going to go, I still would have been first, but thank God Doug volunteered. My brother Doug volunteered. He decided to crouch and try to crawl through this little tunnel. So he's crawling ahead of me, crouched over. I could hear him having trouble. My mom, who's, she does what Doug does. She crouches. She's got her purse. She's crawling through. I can't see. I don't know where to go. I can't see. Just keep going straight. I'm going to crawl, like she said. I get my hands and knees and I start crawling through this little tunnel. And I'm thinking, does it get weirder from this point on? Because this RIP thing is weird. And in the middle of that tunnel, for a full third of it, maybe half, it's pitch friggin' dark. You can't see anything. I mean, it's just an abyss, and we're crawling along, and the walls are designed to guide you, so that was good. And the whole time they got the actual live exorcism tapes playing all around you, and it was creepy. But did I get an experience there? No. The only experience I got is when I popped out. Everybody applauded because I was the only one on my hands and knees. So, because the rest of the tour is waiting for you to get out.
Uh-huh.
Again, pay the extra thing. So that was part of it. That was my initiation into the RIP thing. There were several exhibits that involved dolls. Peggy the doll. Did you see Peggy the doll when you were there?
Yeah.
Is she the one who guessed your name?
No, that was a different doll, a different time. A lot of things say my name when I go places, but that particular room, I didn't have anything. There was a guy in there that was like trying to provoke it or whatever, and it started like the box started getting all weird. But
interesting.
I left. They kicked us out before we got too far into that.
I was in that room, and again, there's a wall that divides where the artifacts are and where the Peggy doll was, and we're all standing behind the wall. Well, RIPs, come on in and meet Peggy face to face. Open up a gate, we all go filing right in front of the damn doll.
Okay.
Don't look at her eyes. Don't stare directly at her face, whatever, And then she's got one of those spirit boxes.
Yeah.
Which I call a squawk box, because that's basically all it does is squawk constantly.
Yeah.
And she's asking Peggy questions. Can you name, how are you feeling today, Peggy? Blah, blah, or do all these people here make you nervous? And we're going to squawk, 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 squawk. And nothing's happening. And she's, the guide is telling us, oh, she's not talkative. You should have seen her yesterday. She was way talkative. I said, well, that's what you're telling us. What do we know? Did you tell them yesterday? I'm very skeptic on this whole thing. So suddenly the box clears and we hear the word Vince. And I'm looking around to see if somebody's named Vince. And the guide misheard it completely. She goes, did she just call me a bitch? No, she said Vince. Pretty clearly, I thought. I think she called me a bitch. Okay, that's it. We left the room. Nothing happened, So the next thing I remember, because there's all kinds of exhibits between there, like a carnival show and other things like that. And there's one room where you walk through. First, there's a miniature carnival that's glorious. Was that there when you were there?
Yeah, there was a lot of clown stuff, carnival stuff in the middle. I don't remember each room specifically.
And I know I'm skipping rooms out of order and whatever, but this particular room had a really great miniature circus. And I was just drawn to it, just fascinated by all the little machinations and the way things were moving. It was amazing. And that took you through the fun house. Mm-hmm. Okay, the fun house, I still don't understand. I said I had 2 experiences there. I should have said 3. Because as you walk through the fun house, there's the fun house mirrors and other things, and there's a dozen clowns standing there. Some of them are obviously just dummies. Others, I'm going, that's a real person. They're going to jump out and scare me. And I swear to you, one of them, when we passed it, went like this and looked at me, but nobody moved. If they were real people standing there, their job was just to stand there and look real. Mm-hmm. And it was freaky. I mean, I was paying close attention. Nobody in our group got scared. Nobody got jumped out at, except for a big mechanical clown jumped out at you. Mm. But I'm wondering, why are these clown statues just that realistic? Mm. Or were the real people there, put there to take you off? And how do you, my thought is they couldn't have been, because how do you pay those salaries? I don't know. We finished that room and my mom says, boy, some of those clowns looked really real. I said, yeah, I know. And she was, and that one guy, kind of short guy, I think he looked at me. I went, yeah, I thought he looked at me too. So that was a little weird. Anyway, we get through that room. Several other doll rooms. The one doll room I don't remember, but it's something like abattoir, something like that. And this is supposed to be the most evil doll in the whole world. It's the one that Zak Bagans, something that became a regular happening for him. When he looked at the doll, got in a bad mood, got sick, puked, his nose bled, all this stuff. And he begged us all, if you go, you can choose whether to go see this doll or not. If you do, don't look at it directly. This is right after the Peggy doll. Don't don't dawdle, just go past it, just glance at it and move on through. I'll never look at it again because it ruined part of his life to a major degree. And he asked the tour guide to never look at that doll. So she doesn't even go in the room with you. She just sends you in. It's a little tunnel you walk around. Well, it's just a U shape. You walk in, you go to the left, you go to the right, you go to the right, and you're out. So I went to the left, I went to the right. There's this tiny little box, this tiny little doll in it. And I glanced at it thinking couldn't be the doll. It was like a G.I. Joe size, you know? And then I left and then that was it. I go, oh, so that was the doll. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even get a really good look at it because I was expecting more focus on it. They had a couple of boxes there that were supposedly the haunted boxes. One is the most haunted box of all time.
The Dybbuk box?
Yes. Uh-huh. Thank you. That box was creepy. Mm-hmm. And when you were there, was there just a crystal box over it, or was there the outside box as well?
No, it was just one. It was like a glass case that was set over it.
Okay.
And I think it was just that. It was just the room, and then there was this pillar with the Dybbuk box on top, and then the glass case on it. Okay,
because that's different now.
Okay.
Because apparently some gentleman was in there when they just had the crystal box and had a really bad experience. A lot of people pass out in the haunted museum. They have video of it all, because they video every single tour for safety purposes, and they have people passing out, and some people one man got really hurt, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But the box is now the crystal box with the Dybbuk box sitting on top of it, and there's an outer wooden box with a glass window around it that has a Jewish protective proverb etched into the glass now to try to prevent the evil from seeping out into the audience. So that was interesting to see, very creepy in the way the story was found. And the fact that it's the genuine article means a lot, because if you were just in there looking at a model, it wouldn't have that effect. There were a couple of boxes like that, and they're just boxes, but at the same time, they've got this great music playing in the background. They also scent the rooms. They have a certain smell. Each room has its own kind of smell. Sometimes it's just a burning smell. Sometimes it's another floral smell or something like that. And then the heat levels. It's not a lot of air conditioning in there. A lot of places are stiff and hot, which is one of the things I think that's probably why most people pass out. It's because, I'll be honest, I was hungover. It was our first night in Vegas the night before. So I was feeling a little lightheaded at times, but I knew it was hangover lightheaded, not haunting lightheaded. And my brother was the same way, who wasn't hungover, but he said the minute he entered the museum, he felt that lightheadedness. And especially when he was going through that tunnel, he didn't think he was going to make it. Now that I'm thinking, well, I can see that could be a combo of maybe both, even though he wasn't drinking as heavily as I was the night before, he still felt that
he was the first one in.
And he was the first one in. That's true. That is true.
I wonder if they have oxygen ports where they're pumping oxygen in to make people a little lightheaded.
See, that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought the same thing when I get to my story.
I'll tell you that again, the showmanship there is perfection. It is absolute perfection. Whether any of this stuff is real or it's all just BS, it's still perfection the way they present it. They took us to, again, I know I'm going out, the Conjuring rooms. There's several things from the Conjuring there. That exorcism, the beginning was from the Conjuring films. And then the chair from the Conjuring films where the beast reportedly sat, rocked in the chair, and took over that little boy, possessed that little boy. That actual chair is there. They have a door built onto it that she says you have to step back away from, because that door will close unexpectedly if anything happens, and it's like slams shut and seals it off into like an iron thing. This was the part of the tour where I started getting even more skeptical, and I stared at that chair directly. Again, RIPs, come through this gate and just look right into it, And so I stared at that chair and I was going, come on, rock, you son of a bitch. Let's go. Let's rock. And
I paid $100 for this. You better rock.
Nothing happened. Well, at this point I was challenging like you tend to do. I was challenging you. Show me that this is what this is, and nothing. Still pretty creepy to see the chair, and some of the stains are still in it from blood and things like that. That's a little creepy. Which reminds me, there were several serial killer. There's a true crime section there. Serial killer displays that are very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. And again, they told you if you don't want to go in this room, don't go into this room. one particular room, and I don't remember the serial killer who it was, and I wouldn't tell you if I did because I don't want to, continue their notoriety. But they had the actual bed. They had murdered people on men. Do you remember that was there when you were there?
Yeah.
Still feces on the bed from his victims being horrified and tortured. Q-tips where he had dipped bleach and then brushed their eyes so they couldn't to destroy their sight. And the first lady that opened the door, she walked in, she said, "Nope." She turned around, headed right back out. It was just like that.
And then they had the stick in there that he would
Yes.
do things. Yes.
Yes. He would beat and sodomize them. They said sodomize, and I looked down. Ouch, that's not fun. But it's not supposed to be fun. And that's the part of the thing I didn't like the most. It's like I wanted to see things about hauntings, and I know they're saying that spirits are attached to the stake and to but this is real life where these psychopaths are killing people, and there's the bed where he did it, and there's some feces from the poor person who suffered through it.
Okay, that's
not what I wanted to see. It's still interesting museum stuff, but not necessarily what I was there to see.
Okay, is that particular, is that from a movie or is that from
that's real life? This is the true crime section.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you after the show. I'll tell you about that room.
Okay.
And then they had Jack Kevorkian's van, which was interesting. Now, the interesting thing about that is that Kevorkian's lawyer swears that the van was destroyed, but they still found it and proved it was the same van. And so they had replicas of his equipment that were hanging in the van, and they had told his story and talked about spirits that have spoken from within it. And this is in the section, the true crime section, along with the serial killers. And I was a little torn on that one because was Kevorkian a serial killer, or was Kevorkian an angel of death who helped people? And that, I don't know if that question was ever completely answered, but it's worth examining for that purpose. But to see the actual, because he actually helped people commit suicide in the van, not just at their homes, in the van when they couldn't do it. So that one was also a little iffy. Fascinating to see, but iffy.
I remember the stories about him.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a big deal. There's the nautical haunted room. Have you been in there? Was that a new addition? I figured that might be a new addition. They have artifacts from the Titanic, including the haunted captain's mirror, because there was a report that the captain saw his death in the mirror that was hanging on his wall in the Titanic. Well, Zak's got that Titanic mirror. That's really cool to look at, and you can stare directly into that. Had the Bela Lugosi mirror that you suggested, and you said you had an experience there.
In that room, not with the mirror, though.
Do you want to talk about that now, or?
Oh, sure. I mean, if you want me to.
Yeah, because I don't think I had an experience in that room, but.
There's it's nothing super special, but that was I think it was the first or second room that we went into on our tour, and they didn't have all the video presentations. They were just like, here's a quick story, go on in. And then they were really hyping up the Bela Lugosi scrying mirror because they were like, he would conjure spirits and stuff in this. And so they were like, if you're brave enough, you can look inside the mirror and see if you see anything, because sometimes people pass out. And I'm like, okay, I look in it for like 30 seconds and I'm like, so whatever. And as everybody else is doing it, I'm looking around the room and there's this painting, and I believe it was a recreation painting, but they had like the little sprinklers systems set up in there. Specifically in that room, I don't know if they had installed them in the rest of the
because of the
museum,
little boy.
Because of the little boy painting. And the story with that painting is that wherever that painting is, whether it's the real or the recreation, will have a tendency to light on fire and burn down. So as I was looking at that painting, then they didn't really tell us about it. I had just known, like, oh, I've heard of this one before. That's a
lot of stuff you've heard of, and it reignites your
So memory. I was looking at this thing, and as I was looking at it, I started to get this like really strong pain in my eye. Like behind the eyeball, there's this the connectors and stuff. Like it was right behind my eyeball, just in there, like really painful feeling. And as soon as I looked away from the painting, it went away.
Really?
I looked back and it comes back.
Interesting.
So
And if
Is that ghosty? I don't know, but it was something interesting that I noted.
if I remember correctly, it was an original painting, and it was
Oh,
one
was
of
original?
4 that were
Oh,
originally created.
Mhm.
They now have a heat lamp on it, so
Okay.
that it's the painting. And this is their words, not mine. The painting always thinks that the room is hot, so it doesn't
Oh,
cause the fire. Yeah,
Okay.
that's their story on that. So, the Bela Lugosi mirror was very cool. There's also a sculpting in there that Jeff didn't see, that wasn't there before, but it was Josh called it a wizard when he saw it, and it's a life-size bust of a human being with a leather cowl on their heads and a face that's sculpted out of this, but inside is a real human skull. And Josh says that wizard whispered to him. Says, I don't know what he said, but I heard as I walked by.
Mhm.
And he said that a couple days later, he was walking along somewhere and he heard that sound again, and he stopped and a big rock fell right in front of him. He was on a hike, and he's like, I don't know if that's coincidence or if that's what was a warning that I got from this wizard thing. So that's kind of goosebumpy, you know. But so in the nautical room was the Titanic stuff and also the Natalie Wood exhibit.
Okay,
And
yeah.
the first thing that you see is a photo of Natalie Wood. That woman was just drop dead gorgeous. She was just terrific talent and everything else, but man, she was just beautiful. And so did he have that story when you were there?
Nope.
Okay, so the story is that he has the original table from the Splendor, which was the ship she was on when she died. We'll leave it at that. And so a couple of other artifacts from there as well. And he had just received those and was going through, he was sitting at his, and they have video of this because like I said, the video cameras are always going there. He's sitting there with a portable computer and he's doing some work to create an exhibit out of the Natalie Wood section. And his Skype rings. Remember when there was Skype? No Skype anymore. But he answers it, and it's the captain of the Splendor. He's in Thailand. And he just had an experience, and he wanted to explain it to Zak because he said Zak was the only one that could explain the experience. So apparently he was in Thailand, and things on his shelf and in his dresser started flying off of the shelf and the dresser onto the floor like somebody just scooped them and thrown them on the ground. And he said, and I stood there and watched him, and I don't know how any of this was happening. It was just happening. And even the bottom shelf, where somebody would have had to reach in and pull things out, were reached in and pulled out and scattered all over the floor. And he said, I know it was Natalie because when there was ever a fight on the Splendor, apparently there was more than one fight on the Splendor. That's what she did. She would go in and she'd throw things around in anger. And Zak Bagans looks at him and says, well, you know what's weird is we just got this stuff in, and I'm sitting here writing about the exhibit we're going to put together. And that guy's like, he's stunned. And he goes, I know it was Natalie. I know it was. And Zak, being the paranormal investigator that he does, well, if it is Natalie, is there anything you want to say to her now? And at that point, up to that point, I'm going, okay, this could all be contrived. This all could be planned, you know, and of course it could. But that man breaks down in a way that you knew it was real. He just starts sobbing. I'm so sorry, Natalie, just crying. That wasn't fate. And that made the whole thing seem real to me. You know, it was very interesting. So I don't think we'll ever know what really happened to Natalie Wood on that boat. But it's a museum. It's not a fun house. It's a museum. So you go there, and thank God there were no jump scares or things like that. You know, people in masks, that kind of, because that would have cheapened it. It felt like a real museum, and that's how it needs to stay. And just seeing the table, you know, there's a photo from the Splendor on the wall with Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner sitting beside each other on it. And there's that damn table right in front of you. It's interesting, if nothing else. There was another exhibit they had where this house was haunted very badly. They showed videos from that. And then they had like a recreation with the actual artifacts, stairways and stuff, of the home that was haunted. And then below, what they dug up out of the ground below it. Did you see that exhibit?
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Yeah.
There's all like, there was a full-size devil. There were little wooden carved dolls and things. These were all buried beneath a supposedly haunted house.
Can I ask you, where was the recreation of that devil in the room specifically?
It was on the left-hand side as you were facing forward. I had to go look over the railing to see it.
But where, like, was it under the stairs or on the other side of the stairs, or
It was-
as you're coming down the stairs, or what?
Okay, stairs were over here, and it was on the left-hand side down here,
Under the stairs?
as I recall. Yeah,
Okay.
beneath the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that where it was? I mean, do you know something about that?
We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Is this another experience that you had?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it now.
Okay.
So
That was the last thing that happened to me, and that was the most significant thing that happened to me.
okay.
In the museum, because so that was the end of the tour for me, was that room.
It was very close to the end of us.
Because he did a documentary called Demon House, where he bought that house, he did an investigation in it, and throughout it, everyone he had come in had like bad things happen to them.
Yeah, they
Like,
show a video of that.
like one guy, like he got diagnosed with cancer during that, and then some other guy, he had a bunch of health problems, whatever. And towards the end, it was just Zak by himself, and then he saw this figure that was there. And as soon as he saw it, he has eyesight problems now. Like he has to wear these big bottle glasses, because as soon as he saw this thing, both of the like tendons in his eyes disconnected, both of them,
wow.
like that, and he went blind. He couldn't see anything.
Wow.
And in the documentary, you actually see this shadow thing, like the camera blurs too, and then you see this thing come across. And so I was kind of excited to see this room, because I was like, oh, it's from this movie where he had all these experiences. Like, let's see if it's as bad as it was. And when I went into the museum, I don't go into things thinking I'm going to have an experience. I'm just really hyped to see all this stuff that has history to it.
Yes.
In things that I'm interested in, the serial killer stuff, the haunted stuff, it all has, it's all part of my interests or whatever. So we're standing outside this room, and the tour guide tells us, she's like, this is the only room in the museum that we don't have to go into. So she's like, I'm going to stand on the other end of the hallway. You guys go ahead. And I told my wife that I was going to try to be in this room by myself to see if I feel anything. So I was going to be the last one in, and I was just going to chill out in there for a little bit and then come out.
I'm not going to interrupt here, but just save that point about being in a room by yourself, because I'm going to come back to that. Go ahead.
Okay. So, the lady says, like, I'm going to go hang out over there. You guys go ahead. And my wife's like, yeah, I'm not going in there. So I'm going to go hang out over with you. So I'm standing there. I'm waiting for everyone to start going in. And nobody's moving. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to go in. So I grab the doorknob and I open the door and I go in, and immediately it was just this heaviness, like I almost fall to the ground, because it's just the pressure in there is so extreme. I've never felt anything like it. And I almost fall to the ground, and I stumble forward and I like grab onto the railing, and I'm just like standing there, and I'm like, what is going on? And this guy comes in behind me, and he's like, wow, it's heavy in here. I'm like, yeah, it is. And I'm looking up, and that's where I see the figure of the thing.
Did you have to look over the railing to see it? Because I had to go find it.
I didn't look over the railing.
Okay.
I looked up. I was holding on to the railing, and I looked up, and it was there.
Interesting.
Underneath the staircase. And back then, well, I'll get to that point. So next thing I remember, I'm leaving the room. I see that thing, and then I'm stepping out of the room.
So you had a loss of...
Yeah. So I'm stepping out of the room, and I
Okay.
step out of the room, and I'm like, I wanted to be in there by myself. Like, what? And everybody is over there on the other side of the hallway.
Oh.
So I go up to my wife, and I'm like, she's like, did you feel anything in there? I was like, I didn't really spend a whole lot of time in there. I just kind of walked in and walked out. And she's like, you were in there for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, I was only in there for like 15 seconds. I walked in, I felt the pressure. Then I stepped out. I don't know why I stepped out. And she's like, you were in there for 10 minutes. Everybody went in, everybody came out. You were in there by yourself for at least 5 minutes.
Wow.
And the tour guide was getting worried about you, and she was going to go in there and get you. And that's when you stepped out. And I was like, I don't remember any of that. I was in there for less than 30 seconds.
I gotta go
probably.
to this place.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You do. You really do.
And so I don't know what happened to me in there. Was I acting like a freak? Does everybody think I'm a freak who was in there?
Yeah,
like,
we just
was I
stand there
doing
staring?
something wacky? What was I doing?
Yeah.
But by that point, we were already in the gift shop. We were already leaving. The tour guide had left. I was just kind of like processing still. And by the time we got in the car, I was like, maybe I should have asked more questions about that. So a couple days later, I ended up calling because, I always think through these things. I'm like, well, maybe they have these boxes because sometimes when you're going through like haunted mazes or whatever, they have these like atmospheric things that kind of send out like these pressures or sound waves or something that make you feel certain things. And I could see maybe, the showmanship that they would put something like that in there to.
And again, the showmanship is perfect there.
So I called and I asked, hey, is there anything that does that? They said no. Like, did you have an experience? I was like, no, it's whatever. It's, like, I'm good. I just wanted to ask. And I looked up pictures of the room, and at that time, that mannequin was on the other side of the room.
Oh,
when you come down the stairs, it's in front of the stairs over here. It's not under the stairs. There was other stuff under the stairs. So I don't know.
Well, what's interesting is that when I walked in that room, that you saw the bottom of the stairs and you saw some of the artifacts that were buried there. But it wasn't until I moved all the way to the railing and looked down that I could see that big demon. And it did give me a shock, but I just assumed because, there's a demon there, shocking. So obviously it either they moved it because people were having that experience, or it tricked you into thinking it was.
I don't know.
Who knows? But it was freaky. That thing's scary. That was that thing's pretty scary.
That's kind of why I want to go back so much, is I want to see if I have the same experience, or I want to go in there and at least look around to see, like, because they can say, oh no, there's nothing wrong in there. But then if I see like, okay, well, there's a box there that's putting up pressure or whatever.
They're not going to give away trade secrets, obviously.
Like I want to go back and confirm what I had there. But that was the biggest thing that happened to me there, was that, and that's the thing that stuck with me the most, because
that's pretty big.
Okay, here's what we do. We schedule a remote up there, and all three of us wear Google glasses.
Google glasses?
Google.
That would be illegal, John. That would be considered spying. You sign a waiver when you go in that says you won't do any of that, and that you won't sue them when you die because the ghosts are chasing you.
Well, you can't sue them once you're dead.
Your family can.
But that's not what you said. You said when you die.
Okay, so you're a lawyer now. All right, so
as a matter of fact, I'm not.
I had two experiences there. We'll then see if any of these touch base with you. One of them, the cellar. Was the cellar open when you were there?
Nope. They wouldn't let anybody down there.
Okay. But they told you the story about the adult actress, Jenna Jameson.
They didn't tell us anything about that. They just said that down there in the basement that there had been some rituals and that it wasn't open. Like even the tour guys weren't allowed to go. At that point in time, only Zak Bagans was allowed to go down there.
Now I'm really, this story I'm glad I didn't know that until after this, because so we all gather around this dark stairwell, the same one you're talking about, rope across it. And she's telling the story about how adult actress Jenna Jameson called Zak Bagans and said, my brother used to live in that house. And he said that there were satanic rituals being held in the cellar of that house, and that people died. More specifically, a little boy died down there, was murdered down there as a sacrifice, but others were as well. And so Zak does what he does best. He did the research and went, well, he did live here. So, he was aware of this stuff. And so he did that research, and then he said for some reason they stopped talking to him. So he hasn't any conversation with them since that point. But he did more research, found out about what was happening down there, about because there was always rumors throughout Las Vegas of these satanic rituals. And then our tour guy says, and you RIP members are the only ones allowed there. See what I'm saying? If you had been there on the regular tour and that had happened, you'd have been pissed. She opens the door. We go down into the cellar. She told us there's a spirit box down there along with artifacts that were collected down there and left down there. The floor is still dirt. It's dirt clods. You're tripping on them and whatever. So I think 7 of us went into the room because a couple people went, nope, I'm not going down there. And we went down the room. The spirit box is in the wall, squawking and knocked. It's just driving me crazy. And we're walking around, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm looking around, and I look up and I go, oh, everybody's gone.
Oh, really?
I probably should get out of here. So I start to leave, and I step out of the main cavern just in time to see my brother hit the stairs and go up. So I'm down there by myself, squawk box going off. I'm getting goosebumps from this. And suddenly there's somebody behind me. And I turn, well, there's nobody behind me, but I felt somebody behind me. And I'm going, it's time to leave. So I start walking away. Then I get this feeling that somebody's close behind me, like they're following me out of the thing. So I'm walking a little faster. And then to top that all off, the squawk box, the spirit box stops squawking, and I hear voices, clear as a bell. Couldn't tell you what they were saying, but I heard human voices talking on the squawk box, which had been just squawking the whole time. And that was it. Man, I ran up those friggin' stairs. I didn't want any part of that. So something definitely there.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was, I think, the second thing I had an experience with, because she was telling us a story about the basement or whatever. And we weren't allowed to go down there. No one was allowed to go down there. But I had kind of like, okay, well, maybe I could get the energy user or whatever. So I like leaned up against, like I grabbed onto the rail or whatever, leaned up against it just to see. And like the wooden railing that they have around that, as soon as I touched it, it was like I immediately got dizzy. Like some stuff was going. I'm like, I grabbed onto my wife. I was like, oh my God. She's like, what are you good? And I was like, there's something down there.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I lucked into being the last person there.
Yeah.
But it was not a great experience. I walked out of there and my hair was all back and my back was all prickly and my skin was all goosebumps. And I was like, I didn't say anything to them until we got out of the museum, and then they were laughing at me. But I'm just telling you, there was something else in there with me, and it was following me close.
Yeah. See, me, I would have like turned around. I was like, all right, let's go.
I know. Okay. Prove me what you are. But I would have swore somebody stepped out behind me, and then I turned, and then, like I said, I'm heading down that little hallway there, and it's more of a tunnel and a hallway, but it's like they were right in my back, and I just couldn't wait. It was like you were waiting for somebody to reach out and touch you. And then for that spirit box to start, the whole time it just squawked. And that's just annoying. Squawk, 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 squawk. All of a sudden it stopped, and nope, I do not want to know what that voice has to say. I just want to get the hell out of here because I'm the only one down here now, you know? It was.
I know what it said.
Listen to the Backseat Mogul show Saturday mornings at 9 a.m.
Live on Roof Edge FM.
Ginger or Marianne. It's always Marianne.
I love the way you keep the energy flowing here. Yeah. The other experience I had there was in the Bob Mackey room. And this one I have no explanation for. And it was actually probably my least favorite room. So what? A bunch of rednecks got together and celebrated Satan. I know there was sacrificial murders and all that stuff there, but I was just kind of bored in this room. So I'm standing there. My mom's by my side. Doug's behind me on the telephone talking to Zach because they have this fake phone set up, and there's a conversation with I think it's just a recording, but it feels like an AI conversation because he's asking, hope you're enjoying the tour. Did you have any experiences today? And if you say yes, there's this slight click and it gets an answer. If you say no, there's a slight click and get another answer. Because I did it too afterwards. But I'm just standing there waiting, and I'm kind of like, this is not my favorite room. That's not scary. It's kind of cool to have this old. It just felt like you were in an old 50s diner, you know, or something like that. Probably 50s is wrong. 70s diner, let's say. And suddenly, I don't know how to describe this out sounding like I'm making this up, but I swear to you, I'm not. My lip parted on the side of my mouth, just parted. And this cool stream went into it. And I, like, what the hell is that? I looked up, I thought something had dropped on me, like water or something. There's nothing. It was just, my lips just parted. And I was trying to think of a way to describe it later because I thought, how do you just say what happened? And I said, it was like somebody took a cocktail straw and pushed it between my lips, and then cold air rushed into it. But it was just a tiny little part, and this cold air rushed into it. And I thought water dropped on me because it was so cold. And initially I thought that's a hangover effect. But then I thought I've never had that happen before. Nothing like that has ever happened to me before.
Have you been to the dentist lately?
Yes.
There you go. It was a memory coming back from when you went to the dentist for some reason.
The dentist has never just opened my lips a little bit to put a cocktail straw in there.
That you know of. Didn't they shoot Novocaine into your Or did you get the gas?
I'm about to get the gas.
Oh no, please, no.
I can't explain that experience. I just know something weird happened that was completely involuntary on my part. And, then it wasn't until later I thought of the cocktail straw. And then it wasn't until after that I went, oh, that was a bar. I don't know. I don't know how to, it was just so unnatural and weird that I thought something had dripped on me but there was no drip. It was just that one moment and it was gone. It was weird. At the very end, they had a doll in a case whose eyes were missing. And they told us that one of the most serious injuries they ever had there was a gentleman who came in, stared into those vacant eyes, her words, and I do want to type it, the tour guide too, and passed out. And when he passed out, he fell over a rope, and the rope projected him onto the counter, and he hit his head on the table. So he got pretty seriously injured. They had to call the ambulance, called him. And when he came to, he told him it was because he stared into those vacant eyes and they drew him in and he passed out. So she's telling us that story. So I'm looking at the eyes. Come on. Let go. Let's show me what you got. Let's go. It's nothing. And we moved on. just couldn't do it. It seems like when I finally got gutsy enough to start challenging things, that kind of takes away some of the thrill of it all, because it's like, okay, I'm doing exactly what you tell me not to do and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So
that was the thing with because they didn't have all that other junk there. They had like the Peggy doll and stuff that she said, don't look at. I looked at, and the Dybbuk box, they said like, oh, you shouldn't look in it, but they had it like
positive thoughts the whole time,
cracked open. And I was like staring into that thing. I'm like, I'm not getting anything from this.
You know what? I don't think it was open. I think it was closed completely when we saw it.
Yeah, so it was open because it's a wooden box and it has all these the Jewish stuff all over it, and it was cracked open just a little bit so you could see the things on the inside, which it's not supposed to be because it should be sealed with like wax or whatever.
Yeah, it was. I'm almost certain it was completely closed.
Oh,
well, that may have been with a secondary covering and
probably.
Everything. But
yeah, but it was open for me, and I looked right into it. I could see like the little items that were inside.
There's video. I think it was the Dybbuk box that Zak and this is what he says in the video. My friend Post Malone and I and here's the thing. If you're a friend with Zak Bagans and it's 2 a.m, you want to go hang out somewhere? Hey, let's go drink at the museum. You go drink it. You would. That's just what you would do. But they have video of, again, the security video of him removing the case when it was only the crystal case.
Yeah.
And then you can see like a shot goes through him and he falls back through the wall.
I've seen that, yeah.
And so that was interesting as well. And that's when more of that secondary covering and third covering started happening over that. Because some of the things that I noticed here that I thought were kind of amusing was that every object in a certain row became the most haunted object. The most haunted object in all of America, the most haunted object in all the world, the most haunted object, the most evil object. It just keeps building and building. Great showmanship, but I know what you're doing. They can't all be the most haunted object.
Yeah.
The other thing is that with every exhibit that Zak had interaction with, it turned him into a jerk. He said, I behaved like a jerk. I was mean to people, everything. And I started realizing, well, I see what the common denominator is, Zak. Maybe you're just a jerk. And maybe you built this $7 million mansion to prove to people, it's not my fault I'm a jerk.
Well, if you watch the show, it's like the same thing. Like he gets a feeling and then he gets all aggressive. And I was like, yeah.
See that? Yeah. I haven't seen the show, but I kept getting this feeling like there's the common denominator is you. You're the one who's always a jerk. So, but I don't know him, and it's just a speculation on my part. But that was part of it. Now I will tell you 2 things. They told us that people passed out and they get nosebleeds and headaches. My nose bled like a pig when I got back to Vegas, but my nose tends to do that because of the desert air. So it really had nothing to do with it.
It's doing that now.
Really had nothing to do with the ghosts, but that does happen to me every time I'm up there. They said you will dream. You may dream about them. I did that first night. Everything I dreamt about, I was attaching a ghost to it all the way through. So again, the showmanship there is so perfect that it puts you into that frame of mind. Mm-hmm. The only bad experience I think that I had, and this is half a joke. That night, I had the worst luck playing slots that I've ever had in my entire life. It was terrible. And I thought, did a ghost get on my back and say, nope, nope?
Because you looked into the doll's eyes.
Yeah. And go on, show me something. Oh, I'll show you later, buddy.
Show you an empty wallet.
Yeah. All in all, though, worth every penny of the almost $100 that we paid. I would do it again, probably not for a couple of years, just let them take stuff out and put stuff in. Yeah. And get more stories out of it, whatever. But yeah, I would definitely do it again.
Okay. Now you said $100.
Yeah.
Is that per person or
$100 per person
for your group?
$100 per person. So you get a 2.5 hour tour with a guide. I would have preferred self-guided, but there's no way they could do that there. The free t-shirt at the end. And I got the Halloween edition t-shirt with a jack-o'-lantern on it. So that was kind of cool too. I was going to tell you about the again, this could be showmanship, but it seemed rather brilliant to me. They took us to the room where the chair was, the conjuring room chair. And right before we entered that room, our guide, who'd been with us the entire tour, said, this is a part where I hand you over to this person, and she'll be taking you through the rest of the tour. That was kind of weird. Wouldn't you finish the tour that you began? But I don't know their schedules. And I know they were getting really busy. It was like Magic Mountain when we left there. It was insane how many people were there. So I didn't think anything about it. But then they started showing the Zak Bagans video about when he brought the chair there and what had happened. And he said that the day they brought the chair there, several guests passed out in the place during the tour, not necessarily that room, but throughout the tour, and including one guide. And they showed the guide being loaded up with a mask on her face by the paramedics. Well, it was our guide.
The one that had just left?
Yes. And I thought, I realized she doesn't go into that room anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She won't go into that room because she knows what happened to her in the past. Now, again, is that just great showmanship? Could be. Or is that something that really happened and that's her true belief? Also could be. But anyway, all the tour people were great. And as I said, when we left, you just couldn't believe how many people were there. The parking lot completely full, lines to get in the building, lines to get into the tour. It was nuts. And I understand it's an extremely popular museum visit. In fact, I think it's voted the #1 attraction in Las Vegas for a number of years now.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's funny. I never heard of that place until you guys started talking about it last show.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'd heard about it, but just never. Again, it's kind of difficult to talk your mother into going to something like that, but she did, and she enjoyed it. She said she'd never do it again, but she enjoyed seeing what she saw there. So did you have other experiences while you're there?
Yeah, one I'll talk about off air, one more that I will mention. There was a part of the tour where I watched Ghost Adventures. Well, I haven't watched it for a few years, but there was an episode that they had where this woman had passed away. Her kids inherited the house, whatever. But she was possessed by a demon, and then she died. And her ashes were in the house or whatever, and like were causing a bunch of activity. So they ended up giving her ashes to the museum. And they just there's this little Harry Potter closet. And then at the end of it, there's her box of ashes. So I thought, oh, that's a little weird. Like you just gave your mom to the museum instead of burying them. Like, don't you think that would have ended whatever was going on?
By the way, there's a lot of ashes, cremation ashes throughout that whole place now. But anyway,
but that was that one was that one associated with that episode or whatever. So it's just this long, really thin Harry Potter closet that's just going back there. And maybe it's 10 feet away from you. It's really weird. So it's just this box. And that was all that was in it. You just kind of peek in through it oh, there's that box.
Interesting.
And then you go into the next room and they had all these medical supplies and stuff. And I don't remember all that was in there, but I remember there was an iron lung in there. And that was right behind me as the tour guide was, talking about all that. And I just kept hearing someone talking behind me. And I'm like, I'm trying to listen to this. So I turn around to tell them to shut up. No one's there. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, there's this iron lung here, whatever. And then I look behind the iron lung and there's a vent or a grate or whatever right there. and the ashes are right there, like less than 2 feet away from me.
Interesting.
So
The ashes were talking to you.
yeah, I guess.
Or the people from the Iron Lung, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it was right there.
Oh, maybe the ashes were talking to whoever was in the Iron Lung, and they were going back.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it was maybe you were eavesdropping and they were mad about that.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
That's
But
weird experience. That's
I did ask about that. I said, like, is there any, like, because as we were leaving that room, that was towards the end of the tour. I think that was maybe 3 rooms before we got into the staircase room. But I was like, yeah, is there anything, like voices that they put in just to make the air a little creepier? And she's like, no, did you hear something? I was like, no, okay, it's fine.
yeah, they want to document every single incident of something like that coming up because it builds the
Helps
mystique.
sell, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I would have told them about me, like, being gone for 10 minutes, because I would have liked to see the video. Like, what was I doing in there?
Yeah.
I'll never know.
And the video was there because, like I said, they got video going constantly in every room.
Yeah. They got thermal cameras and stuff in there too.
Yeah. I hope there's none of that tomfoolery going on. Because
I hope so too.
If you discovered that, it would ruin the whole effect of the place.
Yeah. And I get it. I've heard stories about him from people who've worked with him. I mean, I've worked with people who've worked with him and stuff like that. And he's kind of iffy, but I get it. He's trying to sell a show.
Yes.
You can only get 30 seasons by selling a show, like whether it's legit or not, that's whatever you believe. So do I think that there might be some hokey stuff going on in there? I don't know. When you said something about the scents being pumped into there or the music and stuff, like that didn't happen when I was
temperature levels.
Yeah.
Temperature levels varied.
That I don't think that was a thing when I went in there. So like to me, that's like, well, scents and feelings like that, that's part of the experience.
Yes.
When you're in a haunted place. Like, so it's better to just have complete silence, just go in there and see what you feel, as opposed to, all these external factors.
Right. But it wouldn't be a show then and people wouldn't go.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no question about that. But it does also affect that, because you're right. If you're there and they're playing this eerie music behind you when you're looking at this box, that's going to stimulate that particular reaction from you. If it was a completely silent room, it might be creeper, it might be more authentic, but it would also be a little boring. So it's a tough thing. And I think they've done a great job of it, by the way. I think it's pretty impressive all the way through. And there's something in that cellar. I don't care what anybody says, because that creeped me the hell out. That was weird. And again, I was just lucky to be the last person, or lucky, one word for it, I guess. But because I was paying really close attention to the artifacts. They had like knives carved out of stone and things like that, and little cauldrons and whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm the only one in here. And that's when everything happened. So yeah, I don't know. It could just be the creeps, but it could be that somebody was following me out of there.
I've been standing. I'll go to the bank and I'll be talking to the teller, and then I'll get this, like, there's somebody behind me, and there's nobody there. Or not just the bank, but other places. I'll be talking to someone and I just get that feeling that there is someone behind me. You turn around and there's nobody there.
And that could be what happened to me. I can't say that there was a spirit in the room with me or something evil was chasing me out. I can't say that for sure, but I just know I experienced that.
Yeah.
And the whole cocktail straw incident, I have no explanation for whatsoever.
Like for me, like, I count those 5 things as something that happened, but like, looking at the painting and feeling a pain behind my eyeball, whatever, I don't know. That could just be something. I'm not going to say that's paranormal. Leaning against the stairwell and feeling dizziness or whatever. That's just whatever. Losing 10 minutes of time.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that. So that for sure 100% happened. Even the voices, I could be like, well, maybe I was hearing another tour talking.
Yeah.
I just traveled
through the grate or whatever.
Yeah. It's all, weird.
I really wish you had told them that, yes, I did have an experience in there, because they would have pulled that tape.
I should have thought of it, but like back then it was 2018. I was still very much, I was in a time where I didn't tell people what was going on with me, because I had an experience where like there were these paranormal investigators that were like, "You're crazy. We're not talking to you anymore. We're not letting anybody else talk to you." Da, 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 da. Like it, there were, because of experiences that I had in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't like
Sure.
there was a time where I didn't like telling ghost stories because I didn't want to be labeled as crazy. So
And it's interesting because my ghost story at the Ventura Mission, I've told that story a dozen times, probably 100 times. And I still feel that same way. It's like, some people are like, you just made this all up. There's no way that you saw a monk in a red, you were a little kid. You probably saw a priest and thought it was, well, I know what I saw, and I know what happened. But I'm with you 100%. You feel what's the point of telling you if you're just going to say I'm an idiot and go from there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all had, and when I say we, I'm talking about everybody.
The whole wide world.
Yes.
All of you out there
who have had an experience that they can't explain.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember back in the 60s, 70s, when we were living in Dallas. I was visiting some friends at night, and this one night, and I saw these three or four lights in the sky. Couldn't explain it. They were hovering, and then they'd move over, they'd hover and move back, and then they'd disappear. Who do you tell? Yeah, just your friends. But
yeah,
and I remember one time we were coming back from Samus from Vegas, and I saw this light that and I'm looking, where did the light come from?
Yeah,
I mean, it was a beam light.
Yeah,
like that beam that goes up from the pyramid in Vegas.
Yeah,
except this wasn't going up. It wasn't in Vegas. It was horizontal.
it was the beam from Stephen King's The Dark Tower.
Ooh.
Everybody obeys the beam.
But and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And it wasn't just a light; it was a beam light.
There's always things like that happen that you don't know the answer of. And a lot of us, that's one thing that I learned from Richard Sennett that I thought was really interesting. He says that ghosts aren't guys wearing sheets. They're not usually transparent. They're not usually, he goes, they usually just look like a person. The thing that tells you that they're a ghost is their style of clothing, the way they walk, things like that. They float rather than walk. He goes, some of those things you'll see, and you don't realize it was a ghost you saw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't tell you. One of the things that's been happening to me recently, and maybe just because I'm an old man now, but I see a car pulling behind me, and I try to make room for it, and all of a sudden I realize there's no car behind me. What the hell is that about? It's just a weird thing.
Can I have whatever you're on?
Aspirin? Okay. I don't know what it is. It's just a weird thing. And then it kind of ties in. I imagine it's just because I have an overactive imagination. But Richard Sennett told me that there's a time portal in Ventura somewhere. And that if you sit at this particular intersection long enough, you're going to see a car from the future float by.
What?
Every time I go to that intersection, I expect to see a car from the future drive past.
What's this intersection? Because I want to go there.
I'll tell you off air.
Okay. You ever watch the TV show Ghosts?
Oh, of course.
And what I like about that show, you've got all these different ghosts from different periods in time when they died, and they're still dressed as they were when they died. I mean, they got a Viking.
Have you seen that show? It's a fun show. It's a sitcom, but it's very entertaining. Yeah,
and it is. It's very fun. But like I said, they've got what the people were wearing when they died.
It's like they're all the ghosts are actually people who are kind of in purgatory, and they when they finally do a good deed that supersedes what they did in life, they get sucked off.
And that's what they call it.
It's like when they go to heaven, it's getting sucked off.
And it
sounds fun.
And they do have some gay people in it from Revolutionary War.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite characters.
And it's so funny when they say, "Oh, you got sucked off."
We'll move on.
Yeah, it's a fun show. But the only reason I brought that up is because when you were talking about how ghosts and all the way they were dressed, these people, they're dressed, they're not a floating spirit. It's what they looked like when they died.
That's one thing I've heard people say that proves that ghosts don't exist, because why would their clothes be ghosts too? Well, I never thought about that. bodies would
It'd
be
be kinda-
spirits, but yeah, how
It'd be kind of creepy if you saw somebody running around naked.
it would be, yes.
You gotta have
Well,
those
one of them's
ghost
half
clothes.
naked in that show.
You
Well,
gotta
that's
go to
true.
the ghost Walmart. Get
Yeah.
some ghost clothes.
So anyway, that's all about Zak Bagans Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. It's funny because of the Disneyland thing, I can't tell you how many times I've called it Haunted Mansion, but originally it was a mansion, so it's still kind of true.
So it takes place in a real.
It takes place. It's so funny because there's
Yeah, it's a historical.
Oh, okay.
there's a sign out front that says, or a video, I can't remember which it is, but it talks about how it was a mansion where this family lived, but they won't tell you the name of the family because of privacy purposes. And then you walk forward to the next section where you go on the tour, and there's a plaque dedicated to the family with their names on and everything. Yes.
See,
What's the point of not mentioning it here when you got the plaque right here?
They have 40 rooms. They forgot.
Yeah.
see, as you're talking about all this, I'm picturing it being like a big giant warehouse, but it's in a real mansion.
It's in a real
Yeah.
mansion.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's like, it's big, but when you look at it, it's very tiny. And like some of the rooms are so small.
Yeah.
It's like they're just shoving things in here. Like it's an old town, right? In Las Vegas.
It's in the Arch District, which is part of the Old Town, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
It's near the Arch District. It's not.
yeah, it's like right down the street from the Stratosphere, right?
Yes,
That big,
that's right.
big
Okay.
spire
Because we
thing.
went from there to the Stratosphere, as a matter of fact.
I've actually stayed in the stratosphere.
The next time you go, the only thing is you got to be capable of standing for 2.5 hours because there's no
Well, I can do that
there's
now.
very few seats available. There are seats occasionally, and the first thing they do is warn you not to sit in the antique chairs. Well, how do you know which ones are the antique chairs? There's a
When
bench
it-
here. I guess
when
that's one of
when it collapses.
they wouldn't collapse, but
Oh.
you'd sit on it and all of a sudden you'd be possessed.
Same problem
Oh,
we got
then
in
you,
art
then,
museum.
then you
because
get
it's
sucked
like,
into it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is this art or is this a chair?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it cost you when you went through it?
It was $40.
And flat. There was no RIP tour then. So-
Yeah, and then they had one that was 80. I think that was like the flashlight one that you were talking about.
Yes. And they still
I
do
think
that.
Those were the only ones that they had. I don't know if they had a different one at that time, but
And I think the flashlight tour is now 120.
yeah, something.
Oh, that's even more.
Yes. But of course it is, times change and the museum has expanded dramatically since you were there.
No, I mean, it's more than the RIP.
Yeah, because you go in almost midnight and you walk around with a flashlight,
Oh.
which would be a blast, by the way. I think that would be a great way to see that place. But I can't imagine that cellar being any scarier. Here's the thing I thought about also, though, because at one point they played this video that Zak had from security and it was making these huge noises. The place was supposedly empty, but there was like a Tyrannosaurus roar going through the museum.
Wait.
It's a refrigerator.
Oh, well, that's weird. That's the first time I've ever heard that refrigerator.
But it was like this. It sounded almost exactly like the Tyrannosaurus from Jurassic Park, and there's nobody there. So they're flipping through the different videos, security videos, and they couldn't find anything. And also the sound of something being drugged, and they could find no evidence that anything had been being drugged. But I'm thinking they said then they did the research to make sure it wasn't the cleaning crew, and I went, cleaning crew? Let's talk about that for a second. And the cleaning crew apparently cleans in the mornings before they open, not in the middle of the night. So it wasn't the cleaning crew. But that told me that they have full lights. So at some part, you're walking through rooms that are dark, sometimes so dark you need help. There's some weird stairs that I honestly, I stumbled on a couple of them because I couldn't see them. I don't see well in the dark that light, and I couldn't see them. And all of a sudden there's a stair there. But I'm thinking, okay, so this whole place could be lit up brightly with lights, which would take all of the fear out of it. It'd just be rooms, so that's, again, part of the showmanship. They've developed the darkness with the sense and whatever. And here's what's going to be weird. I'm going to get a call from Zak Bagans saying, we don't use any sense. So that,
Yeah, imagine.
yeah. So that would tell me a lot right there, anyway. Zak Bagans Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. Let me see if I can find the website, because if you're in Las Vegas or going to Las Vegas, you can't spend all that time at the machines because you'll lose more money than that. So go check out this thing. And again, it's 2.5 hours for that's the interesting thing. They said that the RIP tour was a half hour longer. I don't know that it was, because there were people in our group who weren't RIPs.
Perhaps it is because they have them sit out in the hallway while you go do other things. So they add that time. They take a pause time on their stuff and then
That makes complete sense. That makes complete sense because that's what happens. And again, I can't imagine being on that tour and watching other people go have the fun with the good stuff. But that's what they're. It's thehauntedmuseum.com, and just go to that website, check it out. They're closed on Tuesdays because that's the day that the ghosts have to rest.
And the cleaning crew comes in.
Ages 12 plus. I would say there's a problem with kids going to this thing because, first of all, kids probably wouldn't be as interested in it all because it's not a fun tour, and two, they might be a little scary. I mean, can you imagine your daughter in the Jack Kevorkian thing? Would she get that?
She wouldn't get it, but she kind of likes spooky things. It takes her a bit.
Yeah, well, you
She's
talked
been-
about
she's
that.
been into spooky stuff. I mean, at 12, I would have been 100%. I would have gone through that at 12.
Can you get rid of that? That one there. Because I just was looking at the rest.
Yeah, the prices showed up here. The general admission is $54.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. It's the waste of money. RIP All Access is $86. Do it. That's the one you want. It's the only way to do that tour there.
Yes, you got it.
If you're a military, a senior, or a local, I could have
Ooh.
saved $6
Yeah.
for the senior discount on that. Like, oh,
Hey, that's a drink.
yeah.
Well, almost a drink.
Anyway, do it. Go check it out. It's located at 600 East Charleston Boulevard. I knew where it was because we had walked from downtown to the Arts District before and passed it. So it was easy. Oh, there's, I want to do this someday. And then we finally did it. And I told you I was going to talk too much about it, but it has that effect on you. It really does. And you really need to go again. I think you and I should go.
Let's do it.
Wait, what? Huh?
Let's do it. I want to.
It would be fun, John. You would be.
I would like to do it.
And I love the way that you handle those experiences by facing them head on. See, I have a little of that trepidation. I want my soul to stay in my body, but you don't care.
Yeah, I mean, because I always had experiences growing up, so it's like I want that confirmation. I want to know that these things are happening, and I want to have those. I mean, for me, ghost stuff is like my theme parks. Some people like going on roller coasters. I don't do roller coasters. So screw that, right? Some people like bungee jumping. Hell no. Me, you put me in an abandoned house overnight. It's haunted. There's 6 murders in it. Let's go. I'm down with that. And so like this, it's like 100%. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And when something happens, I want to make sure that thing actually happened. I'm going to spend the time there. I'm going to make sure that I can't disprove what happened so that I can say, yes, that did happen.
That absolutely.
And I don't sound like a psychopath. You know?
I've done some, for some people it would be hair raising. I used to race cars. I've done zip tie. That was fun. Oh God, that was so much fun. I did it in Vegas on Fremont Street.
What's zip tie?
The zip thing.
Oh.
Downtown.
Okay. Yeah. No. No.
Oh, dude. And I didn't, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can sit down as you zip across, or you can lay down.
Superman style or superhero style, they call it.
And I did the lay down one. I always wanted to do a zip ride, zip tie, or whatever it's called. Zip line. Thank you.
If we do go, we're going to stay at the Haunted Hotel too, the Apache. I showed my brother where it was at, the Apache Haunted Hotel, which is in the back portion.
I think a lot of those places, the old Vegas.
This place is famous for being haunted. And I think we should stay there.
Anyway,
and then go to the haunted, we could probably set something up with Zach and do a promotional thing.
And we could do the zip line.
Not doing the zip
I
line,
would
John.
love to do that.
Well, then do it.
Yeah, we'll watch.
Yeah.
And
We'll attach a little GoPro to your head.
oh, that would be
Yeah.
so cool.
And if something goes wrong, we can just add it to the ghost show.
Yeah, and then
Yeah. Just remember to put your arms out while you're.
I did
going
that
down.
when I was doing that.
If the line breaks, you're just going down. Just
A human missile.
And make a hole in the ground.
aim for an Elvis.
Yeah. But is there anything else in Vegas I was going to talk about? Fremont Street continues to get weird. I'm not going to talk about bars here because, frankly, I don't remember most of them. But anyway, the police presence is really hardcore on Fremont Street, and I understand why, because there's people there who are dangerous.
Yeah.
And I saw 2 people get taken down and shoved into police cars, marshal cars, I should be clear, on the strip that day. And I also noticed this very disturbing but important thing. When you go to Vegas and you want to take a taxi somewhere, so you step outside and there's a taxi queue, right? There's a whole line of taxis waiting for you to pick up the next person. Well, in downtown Vegas now they have a marshal line. a whole line of marshal vehicles just waiting to take somebody to jail.
Oh.
And the two people I saw were both very inebriated. One guy was fighting back, and they were having none of it. He was drunk off his butt and being stripped down to nothing but shorts and that was it. And he had no shirt or shoes on, and he was fighting them and cussing at him, and they folded him up and put him in the back of the car and took off.
I like the way you said they folded him up.
That's what they did. That's the only way to get him in the back seat. It's important that they have that there.
Yeah.
Because there's just some crazy people that are running about there. And I'm always amazed that more purses aren't stolen and that kind of thing down there. But then I don't know the numbers. Maybe they are, but not with that police presence. That police presence is pretty tight. My favorite part was, and I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I was playing a slot machine, and these two security guards from one of the hotels, try not to name the hotel, went walking by quickly, and they're putting on rubber gloves. And I'm all, I'm going to see some crap. So punched out of the machine, followed them down there. And they were at this, maybe you guys know what was going on, because I don't. I know a portion of what was going on. There's a section there where you have to buy a drink from the bar in order to sit there. If you bring a drink from another bar or something else, you're not allowed to sit there, and they ask you to leave. Well, they'd apparently asked this person to leave because she had a drink that was not purchased there, and she wasn't going to go. So that's where the security guards were going with their rubber gloves, was to make sure she moved. So I watched that for a few minutes, and she was saying, no, I'm just fighting them back. And they finally lifted her up, and they drug her out of there and back out to Fremont Street. And then one of the security guards held up her cocktail and put a flashlight beneath it and was like searching through the cocktail. And I have no idea what that was about. Did she have a needle or something that she dropped in there? Was there a weapon? Was there a razor blade she had or something that she may have dropped in there? Or was there some chemical he was looking for? Maybe you can see the roofie chemical if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it was very interesting to see that what was going on. But
maybe somebody roofied her, and that's why she was acting that way.
It's entirely possible, but she was very belligerent. And, you can't be belligerent.
Well, I was under the impression that when you roofie somebody, they get very sleepy and then pass out.
Yeah. And maybe
there's other types of, I don't know.
I don't know. I just never saw it, but I did see a lot of police presence down there, and I was glad to see it, but it's also a little sad because it's just that kind of area, even though it's improved dramatically since the old days. Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the old days, you'd walk across the street and there'd be a guy at the corner of the switchblade going, "Hello, I'm your robber. I'll take $20 now." You give him the $20 and move past.
At least he was nice about it. I can remember driving down Fremont Street.
Oh yeah.
Before they closed it off. First time I went to Las Vegas, I believe it was in 75. And
Doug did that in his Harley, and he still
that
has
was an
memories of that.
experience.
Back to this. This is the Zak Bagans Haunted Mansion. See, I did it. Haunted Museum. This is the entrance. The parking lot is another side of the building. You walk around to this portion, and you go into the little railing on the right is where the gift shop is. It's not a gift shop. The welcome room. The gift shop's much different. Very nice people there, though, and we had a good time. We heard some of the reviews said that people in the parking lot were rude. They were very nice to us. So it's just one of those things. I want to park here. I don't want to park out there. And they blame it on the parking attendant. So,
well, my experience when I worked in the business, you would hear how certain big name actors are very difficult to work with. And I'm sure there's a lot of them like that. But I heard that James Brolin was difficult. Arnold Schwarzenegger was difficult. Come on, my mind just escaped me. Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, very difficult. And no, none of those people. The only people that I found that were difficult to work with, actor-wise, were the so-called professional extras who had no lines.
The important people.
Yeah, but as far as the important people, no, it could be nice. Val Kilmer, we were told, was difficult to work with. That he becomes he's a method actor, and when he becomes that character, he is that character throughout the production, whether that camera is rolling or not. On the set of The Doors, he came and sat with us when we had a meal break. not as Jim Morrison, but as Val Kilmer. Very nice guy. So I contend someone will start a rumor because maybe they had a bad experience with somebody or
everybody has a bad day. You can't make a permanent thing out of it. Everybody has a bad day.
And,
When it's
you know,
a repeating pattern, then okay.
And they try and make a permanent thing. And for me, my experience with all
but
these
it's the
people,
same with you. It's an individual experience. Maybe you caught them on a good day. Yeah. You know, and maybe the other days they're jerks to people.
well, that's just
I
like,
mean, did you ever go have cocktails or anything with any of them? So you don't really know them.
Yeah. And then I woke up.
I'm just saying that, you know, everybody has a different opinion about different things. I've heard stories about actors and people, and then all my years, I would say that what you're saying is usually correct. I had one bad experience with an actor, and it was John Ritter, but it wasn't even his fault. His kid, who's a big star now, what's his name? Jason Ritter, was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and he and his sister. And John Ritter was trying to track him down, and we were trying to talk to John Ritter, and he kept running away. So I can't really blame John Ritter for that, but he was kind of rude to us because he was worried about his kids. I get that. You ever had a bad experience with a celebrity? I mean, except for the one on the set.
No, I can't say that I've met any celebrities. So,
well, at least you called me a celebrity. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll sign your autograph now.
No, you won't.
$5.
I've had, I mean, working with like film stuff, I've had like bad experiences with not celebrities, but with, you know, actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even on my own movie, there was one.
Really? Is he in this room?
No.
Oh, thank God. And again, you know, there's some people who deserve those bad descriptions, but most people, I think, try to be all right. And that thing with Stallone was the same thing as anything else. They didn't want you to look at him because he wanted to be Rocky. He didn't want to be Sly, you know. So I don't know. I wasn't there.
But no, I thought he was, because he approached me and another guy, and I guess he just liked our look, and he wanted us to be in certain areas and told us how he wanted us to do it. But he was very, very nice about it. He wasn't forceful or anything like that. He was a very nice person. So,
have you talked to him since?
Yeah. We call each other up once in a while.
Just so you all knew that I knew there was some delusions going on, and I just proved it. You guys heard that Poker Face was canceled. Anybody? Are you even familiar with Poker Face?
I never saw an episode of it.
Poker Face was one of my favorite news shows. It was about a woman who had the natural ability to tell when people were lying. It was a detective mystery show. It was along the lines of the old mystery movie of the week things that ABC did.
Who was in that?
I can't remember her name, and I knew you were going to ask that.
Was she the one from Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I know that. I know what show you're talking about.
Let me find out her name, because it's just because I'm blurry this morning. It's not because I'm still tired from Vegas. It's not because she doesn't deserve it.
Yeah,
she
her.
does.
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson is the creator.
Natasha Lyonne.
Natasha Lyonne, thank you. She was so good in this. She played the person who could tell if anybody was lying. As a matter of fact, and you'll forgive me because we try to keep the show very family rated, but she'll walk into a room with people she doesn't know, and the guy, well, I just got in from Los Angeles where I met with the president of, and she'll look at him and go, bullshit, because she knows he's lying. She knows just like that. Very interesting story because of that. She solves a mystery every week. Meanwhile, the mob's chasing her because they want her dead because she's had used that trick to win poker games. She knew when people were bluffing because she knew when they're lying. And so it was a very interesting show. She was amazing in it, and it's been canceled. The weird thing about it is that, first of all, they canceled what I thought was a successful show, but it was probably getting expensive. Yeah. The Rian Johnson now wants to continue it. Same name, different detective. He wants Peter Dinklage to play this person who has
interesting
lying ability, and he's trying to sell that show now.
What network is it on? Or
it's on NBC
service?
right now, on the Peacock.
Okay.
Did Rian Johnson have anything to do with the first few seasons? or is he just stepping in?
No, he's the creator. He created the
Okay.
original episode. Yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting turn of events there. Because I know Peter Dinklage is a huge star and deservedly so, but so is she. I mean, was nominated for an Emmy every year for that show. So
How
I don't
many
know.
seasons was
Just
it?
2.
Okay.
But I mean, look at her history. Orange is the New Black, Russian Doll, Poker Face. She's worthy of the attention. And Peter Dinklage, the same thing. I mean, but is he a bigger star than her? I don't think so. Anyway, I don't know. We'll see what happens. That was that was sad news because I was looking forward to season 3. Also, some Star Trek news. They said that the Kelvin timeline is officially dead. We will not see Christopher Pine return as Captain Kirk or anybody else there. They're putting a stake through its heart and it's done. Here's the interesting thing, though. They have greenlit a new Star Trek movie. And it's kind of related to Christopher Pine because the directors of Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves are stepping in to take over the Star Trek movie. They're using a screenwriter whose name I forgot and whose projects I forgot, but you'd recognize them. Not necessarily Star Trek-ish, but you can see how they could merge into the importance of the characters. Did you see Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves?
Yeah.
Johnny, did you see it?
Yes, but it was a while back and I can't remember.
It was pretty entertaining. And it had a lot to do with the partnerships and the reactions between the characters, which is what Star Trek is all about. So maybe this will work, but it's just interesting to me that, they had Chris Pine in their Dungeons and Dragons movie, and then they're going to do a Star Trek movie without Chris Pine.
He was really good as a different type of.
That was Jeff's introduction to the Star Trek movies, right? Was that timeline?
Yep.
So we'll see. I had my druthers. I'd rather see Tarantino's version come through, but I don't think we'll ever see that.
I see there's a new Star Trek TV series going to be streaming.
Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
Yes. When I was working for Burt Rosen, the producer, he was good friends with Harv Bennett, and that was Harv Bennett's dream, was to make Starfleet Academy. He wanted to do a Starfleet Academy series. Couldn't convince Paramount about it. Tried and tried, never worked. But now all of a sudden, here's a Starfleet Academy series.
Well, look what.
So I hope they give him some kind of credit for it because he deserves it.
Look what they did with that story that you and James worked on. So we're not going to do that. And then a couple of years later, oh, wow, there's whales.
That was either a great coincidence or, Gene Roddenberry agreed to read our Star Trek scripts. And he did. I mean, I believe that he did. He took the scripts and I believe that he read them or had somebody read them for him is probably more likely. And in our script, there were star whales, which were basically big plants that were dangerous to starships. And the very next season or second season after that on Star Trek Next Generation.
It was the movie.
No, it wasn't the movie.
Oh, I thought it was the movie.
It was the series. There were star whales. No, the movie was just whales.
And
these were star whales.
There was a Star Wars series. It's the one with the female. She's a
with whales.
Yeah, do you remember that one?
Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka. And they had star whales in that.
Yeah, they go to hyperspace.
Yeah,
they're the hyperspace whales. That's how they figured out how to do hyperspace.
See, that's one of the things. It's not exactly a unique concept, but in our story, it was we were reproducing Moby Dick. There was a starship captain who was going after the star whale.
Yeah, because I mean, even the Disney movie Treasure Planet.
Yeah,
everything was a boat in space, and then they had the space whales and all that other junk.
Again, that's all stolen from our script. So
back in the 70s, late 70s, I had an idea for a show. It's called Bonsai Runners. It was about these guys who had these race cars. They were flat out race cars, but they looked like street machines, and they were racing all over LA on the freeways.
Dude, you know how fast you could sell that these days? You just get UPS or FedEx to pick up on it.
No. Well, and then a few years later, there's a movie called Bonsai Runners. It's like, what? And then another idea that
now wait a minute though. Did it have anything to do with your story? Because titles are something entirely different.
Yes. It's about these guys that were racing around with these race cars.
Thing that you have to prove. I can't even prove it in my case. You have to prove that person read your script or saw your idea. How would that even be possible?
And it brings up another one.
No, you got to prove it. How do you?
No, I know what you're saying, but then there's another case. I had an idea from my experience from high school, our senior trip and all that, about doing a movie about something like that. And I talked to a bunch of different people about it. And what happens? There's this movie that comes out, Dazed and Confused. I'm going, what the?
John, I've told you this before. Dazed and Confused, the beauty of that movie is that everybody thinks it's just a high school story.
I know that, but
it's not. It's
but so many things
designed to make it feel like everybody.
So many things that were the coincidence.
Exactly, because that's what they did. They took the same experiences that everybody went through in high school and they put them in one movie and everybody thinks it's about them.
Well, you know the scene where they would go to the tower and they'd drink their booze and smoke their dope and all that. Well, we had a place called the Blowhole where we would do the same thing. And the character that Matthew McConaughey played, he comes driving up in that really nice looking SS Chevelle. I think it's like a 69 Chevelle. I'm watching that. I'm going, that's Tommy Sweatman. Tommy Sweatman had a Chevelle. And
every high school had his Tommy Sweatman, and every high school had his place where they drank booze. And that's why that movie works so well, because everybody who sees it thinks it's about their hometown. It's brilliant.
But I really like that movie.
But they didn't steal your idea.
Oh, of course they did. Yeah. In my mind, they did.
I always want to think somebody stole my ideas. And one time somebody very blatantly stole our idea, but we won't even get into that here. Well, now I'm getting mad again. It's just not fair. We didn't get to this guy. We'll do that next week because I am anxious to talk about it. Zilla.
Look at that.
He doesn't even earn the God before his name. So it's just Zilla. We'll talk about Zilla next week.
Wait, what? No. Look at T-Rex.
It looks like an iguana.
Isn't that what he is?
But after just watching it again, I believe that he is a crossbreeding of Komodo dragon, iguana, and nuclear fusion.
Okay.
But we'll discuss that more in detail next week.
Hey,
I've been threatening to do it for as bad as they say it is, and we will get to that. I promise.
How's your new novel going?
I haven't written in 4 days because I was in Las Vegas. So
I know
back in the horse.
Oh,
halfway through.
But how many words have you gotten into?
25,000.
Ooh. And what are you shooting for?
25. I got to go to 50 at least. You're never done.
Oh, you're halfway.
You
there.
wish you could get to 50 and be done, but you get to 50 and you go, I got 10,000 more words to go at least. So yeah, but
okay. And what's the title so far? Or the
Mama Bear
title?
Mama Bear is the title.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, and speaking of books, R. Scott Bolton on Amazon.com. If you want some really good reading material, you go to Amazon.com, type in R. Scott Bolton, author, and you're going to see a bunch of books. Yeah, I didn't use the word proliferal. Oh, I did. Right then. The most current that's available is Bowling Bag and the Backseat. And as I always like to say, my favorite is Dead Dick, which is about a 1940-ish private detective, hence who is dead, hence the title Dead Dick. And he is up in the betwixt. Did I say it right?
You're close.
Okay.
Betwixt.
Oh, I left off a T.
Yes.
The betwixt. And it's about how he gets to come back and save people. And he fights demons. Oh, it's so cool.
Nuns with guns. You can't say that without saying nuns with guns.
Who rides a Harley?
And one of them rides a Harley.
Oh, yeah. And there's a bunch of books. The books range from science fiction, fantasy to everyday life stuff. And yes, if you got Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery. So that's my plug right there.
Please read them. That's all I ask. Just, you might like them.
R. Scott Bolton. And they're available. Some are available on paperback. Some are available on hardback. And they're all available on Kindle.
All paperback, all Kindle.
Order today.
Yeah. Order now and get these Ginsu knives. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'll get to 50,000. I'll be gone Thanksgiving week too, because we're going up to Bishop. So there's about 10 days here that I don't have the right. So it's going to be under the wire, but I'm looking at about 3,000 words a day now. What's left, and I can do it. And as I always tell you guys, the good news about it is that after 30 days, I have a finished book.
Yeah.
It's total crap, but I can go back and fix that.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I do. So, did you guys see anything this week? What'd you see?
I saw 2 movies by Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
Oh, nice.
These are both like horror movie-ish. I kept hearing about his stuff, watching video essays and junk on YouTube. So I decided to pick them up. The Criterion sales going on at Barnes & Noble, but they didn't have this movie, so I had to order it online. And I decided, you know what? I'll get his other movie, Pulse. Cure was pretty good. It's about these string of murders that are happening.
Is that a detective story or?
Yes.
I think I haven't watched it, but I believe I've got that at home.
Oh, do you?
I do. I think so.
It is about some murders that happen all in the same way, but they're committed by different people, and the people can't remember why they're doing it. So the detectives have to find a connection between all these murders and figure out how are they happening, why are they happening, and who is doing them. It was pretty good. I had to watch it over a couple of days, just, because I was busy or tired or whatever.
What's the runtime? Do you remember?
– 111 minutes.
Okay. So not that long. Nope. Sometimes his movies get very long.
And this movie, Pulse, I don't really know entirely what it's about.
Did you watch it?
I did. It's I think this is the movie that's talked about the most when you talk about like a foreign horror and stuff like that, because there's some pretty trippy scenes with ghosts. Like the most famous scene is where they, this guy walks into an abandoned house and he sees all this stuff on the wall and there's just this couch, and then he turns around to leave and there's this woman underneath the stairs and she walks at him all weird and slow. It's a really creepy scene. But it has to do with the internet and how the internet's a new thing and how people are kind of becoming disconnected with each other because of the internet. But it's done through a way where, because there's so many people dying, ghosts don't have any more room in the spirit world, so they're going on the internet.
Oh,
and
interesting.
They're haunting people through these like chat rooms or these internet viruses or whatever. So people start seeing ghosts more. And some weird stuff happens, but at the same time, like at the end of the movie, once the credits started rolling, I'm like, I'm not entirely sure I understood what was going on in the film. But the main theme of it is the internet is disconnecting people from each other.
And what year was this?
Uh, 2001, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, 2001.
Very interesting.
Yeah, weird film.
Sounds like it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I just had a thought, and there might have been a movie about this, or maybe a TV series.
Internet ghosts?
No.
Oh.
We are really ghosts. We're spirits. And what we experience as being ghosts or spirits are actually real people. But we are the ghosts.
Do you remember your question to me earlier when you said, can I have some of what you're taking?
Mm-hmm.
Might be want to repeat that to you.
Yeah. That's some good stuff,
Or
Maynard.
you might not need what he's taking because you're.
I got some
You
good
got
stuff.
some good
Maynard.
stuff.
That's good stuff.
I have a confession to make that I'm not proud of, but I started watching Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I got an hour into it, and then my ride arrived to take me to Las Vegas, so I couldn't watch the rest of it.
Wow.
So I think I'm gonna start from the beginning again, because what I saw was absolutely freaking brilliant. The performances are brilliant. The direction is brilliant. The sets are freaking gorgeous. The photography is amazing. It just looks incredible. and I do want to see it as a whole again. So I think I'll go back, and I even downloaded it to my tablet thinking I would watch it in Vegas in downtime. And then I went, I don't want to see it on a tablet. I want to see it on a bigger screen at least. I didn't get to see it in theaters, but at least I'll be able to finally see it on my screen at home. So I will get back to that and watch the rest of that. But
How far did you get?
about an hour in, I think.
Okay.
So
Just tell me what.
2.5 hours.
Or if you want to do that after the show.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you that. I'll tell you off the show. Yeah, I can't think of a way to do it without spoilers. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a good title for something for you to work on. Scotty B's Confession or Scotty's Confession.
I hope not to have a bunch of them.
Mhm.
I felt bad because I wanted to watch the whole thing, and I gave myself plenty of time to do so. But then, of course, life gets in the way. That's the problem watching a movie on TV, because no matter commercials or not, and we don't have commercials on Netflix. So the phone would ring, and I had to answer it, and things. I was still getting ready to go to Las Vegas, and I didn't give it the time it deserved, and I need to do that. So maybe as soon as tonight, I'll sit down and watch it when the wife goes to bed.
Well, that was something that one of John Lennon's sayings. Life is what happens when you're making plans.
That is true.
Yeah.
So is that all you saw this week? Those two things?
Yeah. I watched a couple of shows, but they're not done yet. So I'll wait till they're finished and I will talk about those.
Okay. And you brought me a couple of Del Toro movies to watch.
Yes. I bought Kronos and The Devil's Backbone.
And my goal is to watch those both this week, depending on how the writing goes, and get them back to you next week because I'm looking forward to both of them.
Cool.
Johnny, did you see anything this week?
Besides watching some TV shows, new episodes of the shows I like to watch, I watched a movie last night called Playdate. Came out this year, and it's with, let me pull this up. It's with Alan Richardson, who plays Reacher, Kevin James.
Well, I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Sarah, how do you pronounce her last name?
Chalk.
Yeah.
From Rick and Morty and Scrubs.
Scrubs, yeah. And Isla Fisher. Those are the main people. Oh, and Stephen Root.
Stephen Root, very funny.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk, a legend.
Yeah. It's a funny movie. It's a buddy flick where you've got Alan Richardson. That's going to be a spoiler.
Yep, be careful.
Yeah.
So was it funny all the way through?
It was hokey funny.
That can be okay. That can also not work.
Well, for me, it worked. It was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I saw it on Amazon Prime, and it's cool.
Is it an Amazon original movie?
Yeah, I believe
yes.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
And I will tell you this: Kevin James plays a stepfather who is trying to connect with his wife's son, getting him into sports and all that. I mean, he doesn't resent his stepfather. It's just that he's trying hard to really connect with him. And they're in the park, and he sees Alan Richardson, who has really connected with his son. And it's about the things that happen, how they're getting chased by bad guys and all that. And it's a hokey, fun movie to watch. So I recommend it.
I'll check it out. Just because that cast.
And like I say, it's called Playdate, and it is on Amazon Prime Video.
I didn't watch anything this week because, of course, I was in Las Vegas, but I did play one machine more than any other machine when I was there. Kong Skull Island. Now, the way it's a typical slot machine down here, but the above is a big screen with King Kong looking at you. And as you play, he leans out and looks at your reels and reacts. And sometimes he'll look down and then he'll lean back and yawn and scratch his chest. And that's when you're losing, obviously. Sometimes when you're close to winning, he'll lean out, he'll lean back, he'll roar, and he pounds the screen, it shakes, and it turns into a winner. And other times when you win big, he just does the thing. But it's so weird because it's like I find myself sitting there by myself because everybody else is off playing other machines. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to Kong.
Oh.
And I'm talking out loud to Kong like he's real, so I get a bad reel and I look up and I'm like, you're not going to do anything? I keep playing. And I just do it having fun. But then I realize people walk by me and think I'm some kind of nut.
Oh, if it was me, they go, oh yeah, he's, what was it called again?
It's Kong Skull Island. And it's just a lot of fun. Because it's like he's your partner sitting there with you reacting to the thing. It's an animated, not even a CGI, just a TV animated Kong, not in the old school world, but modern kind of pixelated stuff. But it was fun. And that was my main machine because I'm a big King Kong fan, big Godzilla fan, and they don't have the Godzilla machines anymore, just the King Kong.
One of my favorite slot machines that we used to play when we would go to Vegas, Odyssey.
Those are all gone.
Yeah,
they were fun.
Yeah, but they paid out all the time, it seemed like.
No machine pays out all the time.
That's
did. The illusion they wanted you to buy.
Well, no, we made some money on Odyssey.
Yeah, we did. We also lost some money on Odyssey. So
no, where we really lost money, well, not so much you, but when we were playing roulette. And,
oh yeah, you guys got hit.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were putting money on.
You have to hear the. I promise it'll be it. It's been a long show. Doug was told there was a method to win roulette every single time. What's wrong with that? There is no such thing as any real system in Vegas unless you're counting cards or something, right? So the rule in roulette is, according to Doug, was that you make a bet on red or black. There's a screen that shows you how many reds, how many blacks in a row of one, maybe the occasional green. So you would go up and say, 5 blacks in a row. I'm going to bet $10 on red. So you put $10 down. Black comes up again. You lost that $10. So what do? You double the bet. Double the bet, because eventually it's got to change, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to change.
Were we at the Four Queens or the one that was just down?
I think we were at the Four Queens.
Okay.
And Doug and John are playing this method, and I'm not taking any part in it because I ain't buying any method. And
we got other people.
They finally get up to $600 each because they've doubled their bets the whole way up. So it's all black or red. The opposite way they bet. They lost all that money. Now they're at $600 each. They spin the wheel, comes up black. They lose. Doug looks at the table and goes, spanked.
Loudly.
Because Doug can afford to lose the money. John, who just lost his rent money, got up, turned around, and walked out of the casino as fast as he could.
But the funniest part was the way Doug said spanked.
Spanked.
I mean, it was Doug. It was me. I think there was like 3 or 4 other people.
You guys lost by bidding the double. It had to be. Don't follow any methods. For the normal person, there's not usually one.
It's funny. Last time we were in Vegas, I went with 2 of my friends from here to go to Vegas to help film and stuff. And we were going through the casino. We stayed at the Silverton. They got great gelato and great buffets. Anyways, we're going through, and my friend Ken, he's like, I've never done a slot machine or anything. Let's do it. My friend's like, oh yeah, you've never done it. I'm like, I've never done it either. So he sits down, puts the dollar in. He's like, okay, how does this work? And my friend goes, you lost. What? And then he's like, yeah, you lost already. Oh, it's like, I didn't do anything. He's like, yeah. Well,
you still lost.
Let's get up and let's go. That was it. I'm like, I don't even know what he did. He just put the dollar in, and then it was just, nope, didn't get it. So
you didn't push the button or anything?
Sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you put the money in and it runs the first hand.
It happened so fast that it was like, I still don't know how to play one of these things because it went by so quick. So we just got up and we left.
I missed
that was the smartest move you could make.
Yeah,
I missed the old mechanical slot machines where you put your coins in or your dollars and you pull the arm down, and if you win, you get your quarters or your coins will drop out at the bottom, and you put them in your little bucket.
I don't miss that at all. I remember walking around town with buckets full of quarters, walking to get a bucket full of quarters. No,
but you would hear the clang, 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 clang. You still hear the.
If you want to play those machines, they have them at El Cortez. There's a whole room that's just coin machines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the smokiest room in the building too, amazingly enough.
Okay.
As you can imagine. All right, folks, we are out of here next week. I promise you, we'll talk about Godzilla 1998 because I want to revisit that. I'm going to try to get through these 2 movies that Jeff gave me, Kronos and what's the other one?
The Devil's Backbone.
Devil's Backbone. And maybe if I have time writing wise, I'll get to the theater because I'm dying to see The Running Man.
Big question.
Nope, it's not a big question, John. It's just a question.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Question. Jeff,
Hello.
you got any news for us?
No, not this
Yeah,
week.
we're not doing that every week now.
Oh,
Jeff
Every other
asked me to back off a little bit.
well, no, nobody told me, or I would. Yeah,
No,
I
you
would.
were kind of here.
You were here.
Yeah, but okay, this is me.
That's
Yes.
Exactly right.
That's the
yes.
That's my
That
defense.
is the defense and the end of it all. All right, we'll see you next week. Again, check out, if you're in Vegas, go to that Zak Bagans Haunted Museum. It's worth every penny. Whether you believe in it or you don't, just seeing it as a museum is fascinating.
Yeah, you see some creepy, cool stuff. If you're into ghosts, if you're into true crime, you see some history.
And you're also right about the other thing you said. You're walking through the hallways and there's a lot of glass cases around, and you want to stop and go, what is this? But you don't have that opportunity. You're being marched to the next room, and you're glad you are once you're there. And yeah, you got to check it out now that the videos are there. And Zach does virtually every room, like either audio or video for sure. All right, we're out. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And subscribe if you want to, because it doesn't hurt you and it helps us.
Hey, and go to your local theaters.
Go see Frankenstein if it's still there.
I wish it was.
And-
I'll watch that this week too.
Not just your local main theaters, like your chain theaters, but especially your mom and pop theaters.
Like the one in Bishop, California.
Yes.
Great little theater.
Because they're closing them, turning them into casinos.
That's true. The one in Bishop just added a full bar.
Ooh.
So they're trying to explore options there.
Oh, another place to do a remote.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.